Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Wednesday game review. This time I'm going to be doing something completely way out of my wheelhouse in regards to actual game, that being 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And the reason I'm doing that is because the folks over at Archon Studios graciously gifted all of the Woodhaven Dungeons and Lasers Kickstarter backers with this adventure module, made and designed to go along with their Dungeons and Lasers terrain building sets. This one is a town adventure, and it's called Adventurer's Trail. While it's only 20 some odd pages long, and 23 pages long, it is a very, very nice town festival adventure setting with 4 or 5, maybe 6 mini adventure. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt. I don't want to ruin too much of the actual plot and storyline, but there are several little mini quests or tasks that the players must accomplish in order to successfully make it through this adventure as best they can as possible. And this adventure could easily be used for other game rule systems. You could use it for AD&D, Adventure Conquer King, Pathfinder, etc. There's not a lot of combat. I think there are only 2 or 3 instances of combat amongst the various mini adventures. Yeah, I think there's really only 2. And while I'm not 100% familiar with 5th edition, Little Guy will be doing a video later this evening about 5th edition, and I don't want to spoil too much for that. But this is a very cute, very humorous adventure with a lot of little, excuse me, sorry about that, folks. A lot of little interesting paths that they can take to traverse this little adventure, and it would be easily popped into just about any town setting. You don't actually need the Dungeons and Lasers sets to accomplish this little mission. And I could easily see myself running this for a nice party of 4 to 6, maybe more characters that are passing through a town and want to get a little bit of town action in there without, getting kicked out of the town. As a matter of fact, they could become quite popular in this town. And while there is some minor adult situations in here, that being drinking, I think most people can shrug that off without too much difficulty. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward when it comes to good old-fashioned Dungeons and Dragons or fantasy role-playing. You could easily turn this into a sci-fi setting if you were actually inclined to do so, with very little work. But for the most part, everything is pretty cut and dried, and there aren't a lot of conversions necessary to pop this into just about any game. Heck, you could even, run this in an almost modern or Western, and like I said before, sci-fi settings. For the most part, it does make use of a lot of the pieces and tropes from the Archon Dungeons and Lasers mini universe. A reoccurring character, Bulbo, is in it. For those of you who are familiar with Dungeons and Lasers, Bulbo is kind of their mascot, and you could easily switch that out if you're not enthused to bring that particular weird little character into your story. But I wouldn't pass on actually doing it myself because I'm a big Dungeons and Lasers fan. And the people over at Archon Studios have been so nice to us in the past and helped us out so much that I really, any chance I get to talk about them and their products. And the people there at the company are all actually wonderful people. And I actually got a couple extra copies of this because of the way Kickstarters work. And I'm going to probably send out a couple of them to a couple of people who I know are going to be very interested in it. But, like I said, it's just a 20 some odd page little mini adventure. I hope you guys who got it, like people like Cal and a couple other friends of ours that I know back this Kickstarter will chime in and let me know what they think of it, if they're ever going to run it, if they're going to run it for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons or some other game, and let me know how that goes. I may even hand it off to a friend of my son's if he's interested in running it, just because it's a humorous little adventure, nothing too serious, nothing too dark and gritty. Just an overall pleasant and to be honest, it would be a lot of fun with the right players to take a break from non-stop dungeon crawls and non-stop combat experiences, to really use your brain and really get into the character and the setting, that being of course Woodhaven, but any town would do. You could easily pop this into other worlds and like I said before, do very little to make it your own. But that's pretty much it. It's a nice little bonus for the Kickstarter, a nice little bonus for Dungeons and Dragons players. They make great games in addition to just making great terrain and miniatures. And for me, it's my first experience with their ability to tell a good story, and I'm going to give them definitely an A+ on this one. I hope you guys will, like I said, chime in the comment section, and stay tuned later this evening for the little guys' first foray into the world of 5e and role-playing with actual friends from school. So from all of us here at the Shadow and Sun Show, thanks for stopping by. Sorry about the camera. The little guy was being a goofball. Like I said, thanks for stopping by. We love you guys. Hope to hear from you real soon. And have a great evening. Bye.